They sling the dirt, and at times at each other. It's Stremme and Stremme on Slingin Dirt, presented by Hercules Tire. Here are David and Ashley.
Hello and welcome to Slingin Dirt, presented by Hercules Tires. We have an awesome show for you today. We are going to chat with Bobby Pierce. It's been a while since we've caught up with Bobby, so we'll get to talk about the Hell Tour Championship. And most recently, his North-South 100 win, his first big
Hell with
crown
the Hell
jewel.
Tour. I mean, we
Well,
want to talk
they're
about.
all important.
Yeah, but the North-South is big because that's his mom's area, it's family. It's
I'm
a
sure the Hell
huge
Tour
event.
has played into what his North-South and
agree,
him
but-
losing the Show Me 100 because of the tire issue. It's been building, so I think it all kind of
the tire issue. Oh, when he cut the tire.
yeah.
Well, we could all go. There's a lot of shoulda, coulda.
When he was winning.
I mean,
or
he was
leading.
probably gonna win the Prairie Dirt Classic, but hey, he caught the berm. So I
That's
mean,
right.
but he's done a great job.
And last but certainly not least, we'll talk to Chase, as you like to call him, Houlihan,
Yeah.
Chase Junghans.
Chase Junghans.
They've got a cool deal. He's running a modified this weekend for his brother's memorial.
Cool. This is a badass deal they got going
I know.
on.
That's what
They
I'm saying.
have-
It's for his brother's memorial race.
This
Grant.
is the largest, probably the best paying modified race. I know we have the Mississippi Thunder, pays $40,000 to win, but the race that they're putting on, they have like if you're running 20th at the time or
yes, mystery
something,
places.
yeah, mystery payouts.
Mm-hmm.
So it incentivizes to, hey, we're not just going to start and pull off if I'm having a bad race. It's crazy at what they've done, and I was talking to his dad and him. Actually, I got it somewhere, the breakdown. I'll find it on a break of the money, but I know Kenny Schrader's going out there. But obviously, a lot of the USMTS guys will be there, being a USMTS race. But
There's a lot of money being thrown in along the way for lap leaders and
Yes.
heat wins and
Yep.
all that good stuff. So, and it pays $1,000 to start.
The original plan was they wanted his brother wanted to have like a 10,000 win race and second to pay $100, and they're like, no, we can't do that. So his dad and everybody got thinking, and they all come up with this whole purse structure, and I think there's no better place than Lakeside. I mean, it was a great place, and Grant had always liked running there, I guess, and the thing is and it's obviously as close to their home area, but to keep his memory going and what he wanted, and I think this is not only a race just for this year; it's going to be years to come. So it's a great legacy to have.
Well, I think that's what's really cool is it was one of his last requests is to have a $10,000 to win at Lakeside, and they're getting to honor that. So that's really cool.
Obviously you have Chase in a mod. Shane Clanton's going to run. There's a lot of guys. They were trying to talk me into it. I'm like, I just don't have time. I would have loved to have gone out there, but it's really cool to see all those guys pull together. It's not just a great paying race, but to go there in his memory and be able to run and obviously tell stories and do all the stuff. So.
And it's right in the middle of the hunt.
Yeah, it is.
So it's going to be a big deal all across the board for guys trying to win the hunt in the points chase.
And they're for a lot of people that don't know, we talked a little bit about Brian Clausen last week, but tomorrow at Kokomo Speedway, they're going to have, I don't know the correct terminology, but basically, I'm not saying it's a memorial race, but
yeah, I'd say it would be. It was his favorite place to race, and they're doing
but
it in
they're,
memory of him. So
they're doing it, trying to think here, instead of having it at the Speedway, basically it's where everybody's going to just get together, and they are going to have some sprint cars. Yeah, celebration of life. All-Star Performance is put up, so like all the sprint car drivers that are going to be there, they're paying their pit passes in.
oh, nice.
They're expecting thousands and thousands of people.
Of course.
So it's going to be really cool. And the family and Lauren and everybody had sat down and said, hey, Indianapolis had, offered it up. They'd do it there. And Brian made 3 starts. Yeah, he loved Indy, but Kokomo was his home. And it's really, really cool. And then this weekend, you can't say enough about the racing family. Everywhere there was, people in Victory Lane holding signs up, parked it, and BC, logos everywhere. And it's a really cool thing going on in the racing community. And I know for myself, I'll remember Brian for a long time, and I think he's really started a thing where everybody, when they go to Victory Lane and they parked it, it's going to be for Brian. So he'll probably get 200.
Oh, absolutely.
chasing
Listen, if he
200.
doesn't have 200 by this weekend, as many as I saw, that was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But
I'll tell you what else is impressive is Josh Richards here lately.
Absolutely.
It is amazing at his stats. He's on 16 wins this year. I think he's on the record for, I think that is the all-time beat Lanigan's.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, Lanigan's was around 14. But what's more impressive is I think he's one of the all-time winners or close to it. I have to really check that. I mean, I'm not dirt on dirt. Them guys got it together on checking their stats. But it's amazing at what he's doing. And we were talking before the show because obviously Knoxville was over the weekend for all the push start fans. And they were talking about Donnie Schatz and how, they're like, oh, Donnie. And I'm like, you look at late model racing, you take Josh Richards and you take Scott Bloomquist, all right? They are very into their game. Probably Scott more over the different decades has run very well. But you have Josh building his own legacy. And you look at what he's doing this year, and to me, it's probably better than his 2014 year. I think it was 14 or 13 in there. So, but it's amazing, and it's still not over. I mean, they have
3 out of 4 this weekend on the Eastern Coast.
And the guy that we were trying to get on the show here, he drove his truck all night. They said Craig, our producer, had said that Billy Moyer Jr. He was able to break the streak. So it'd have been nice, and maybe we'll get to hear from him. But it was quite the weekend of racing, and obviously the North-South shootout, the tire deal went over very well. I had talked to a couple guys today and some friends at Hoosier, and they said the tires were awesome. The whole setup worked out great.
That came from racers?
At both parties, yes.
Okay.
Obviously, some racers are going to want to be able to, I didn't like it because maybe they feel they have an advantage because they can groove and sipe tires or do whatever, to have a little bit of an advantage. But for the most part, they said they got all 16 guys that were locked in the show done. Their tires, the guys that made it through the B mains, they, got them through and everything went off as a hitch. And then you see today Eldora released to where they're going to run LM20s on the right front and left side tires, and then the right rear an LM40, which is going to be pretty hard. But no siping, no grooving. You can only sand it. No what they call a needle grinder, I guess. They're going to be pretty severe for what you can do to the tire, I guess.
So 40 is a harder compound.
Harder compound,
Gotcha.
yes. And I don't know. I mean, the late model tires.
You need to explain that on a spectrum. You know what I mean?
So the late model tires, it's going to be when you normally, and from my understanding, when I was there for the Dream Race, a 40 is very hard, and there's really no in between, or they're not allowing a 20 in between a 20 and a 40. So sometimes you're like, hey, I'll take a 40 and just cut it all up, and it'll get heat in it, and it'll act softer. But there's going to be none of that. So it's going to be interesting at what's going on. Hopefully they just have a lot of the infrastructure to be able to enforce the rules that they're bringing out. So
no doubt. Well, some other cool news in the big block world, or I don't know, maybe it's the Camping World Truck Series now. Stuart Friesen will be running Bristol.
Yep.
Since his debut at Eldora for the dirt track race.
I give us a lot of that credit.
Yeah?
Because when he was on the show, we said, hey, why not go to Dover or Bristol? And I see he's going to Martinsville, so good for him.
Yeah, Hallmar has stepped up to the plate and has decided to run him in a few more Truck Series races this year. So we'll see how that pans out. Bristol should be interesting.
I think, I really think it'll help when he goes back to the big block cars. I mean, he's already a great driver, very diverse driver, but I think he'll be able to learn something and go right back to it. Especially Bristol's a place. You go there, no matter what you're in, it's so fast, so small, and your reaction, just everything, it fine-tunes you when you go to other tracks. So
absolutely. Well, speaking of fine-tuning machines, we are going to speak to Bobby Pierce up next here on Slingin Dirt, presented by Hercules Tires on MRN.com.
Slingin Dirt returns in 1 minute on MRN.com.
O'Reilly.
If you're
your windows clean and see clearer with Gunk Glass Cleaner. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, buy one bottle of Gunk Glass Cleaner and get one free. Gunk's high-performance ingredients clean glass and hard surfaces without leaving a film or residue. Gunk Glass Cleaner, buy one, get one free at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Come join us every weekend at America's Tailgate Party, NASCAR USA. Hi, I'm Rob Tanner, your host and master of the grill, as we get you ready for high-octane NASCAR racing with hot laps and hot tracks. We serve up 2 hours of the best hits in country music and keep you up to date with racing news and features you won't find anywhere else. Sit down and have a seat. It's a regular weekend pit stop for country music at the speed of sound, NASCAR USA on the Motor Racing Network.
The NHRA season is heating up, and MotorRacingNetwork.com keeps the nitro burning every Thursday afternoon at 12 Eastern.
Tony Schumacher joins us.
Big moments are presented and big teams show up.
Join Marty Huff and Doug Herbert as they talk with the hottest NHRA drivers each week. Brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. It's The Straight Line, Thursdays at noon Eastern, only on the MotorRacingNetwork.com. This is Slingin Dirt on MRN.com. Now back to Ashley and David Stremme.
Welcome back. You're listening to Slingin Dirt. Joining us now, he picked up the North-South 100 win. It is Bobby Pierce. Welcome to the show, Bobby.
Hi, how's it going?
We are doing well. How are you now that you've picked up your first Crown Jewel win?
Yeah, heck, that was awesome. Florence is always a track that my family, has had a lot of history at with my dad winning that race in 1999, and we got it this past weekend. So heck, it's crazy passing all those big names to win that huge race. And as soon as I passed Scott for the lead, I could see all the fans in turn two. Every time I hit into the corner, just jumping up and down, going crazy. I'm trying to stay focused and just ride out the last couple laps of the race, and it was awesome.
It had to have been pretty nerve-wracking. I mean, you're racing against Scott, and I'd seen a little interview on Dirt that you had said he obviously he was one of your idols, and passing him and racing around all those guys. But talk about the last 3-4 laps, and I mean you're running against a fence anyways, which half of us in just normal conditions and not even leading a race it's hard for, and you make it look easy. So just talk about those last few laps, what was going through your head.
Yeah, well, Florence is, when it gets that way, it can really be a track that moves around a lot. And, Josh King, the one that runs it and everything, he did a great job at prepping the racetrack. My friend Devin Moran, he started just ahead of me by 2 spots, and he came from 14th to,
fourth.
The fourth or third there for a while.
Yep.
And he was checking out on me, and then I finally got rolling on the top. The track kind of cleaned up to the point where it was so slick anywhere else but right on that cushion. And, the only grip you could really find on the racetrack was so low on the straightaways. You had to kill all your time getting through the corner that by the time you would get that traction down the straightaways, you wouldn't really be making up any time. So, there was just that fine line up on the top there, and it was rough up there, too, in a couple spots. And by the time the track cleaned up and the line kind of got to the point where you were going around all the holes, and it kind of got smoother to drive. And I think as my tires heated up, too, we had that right rear 40 thing where no one could cut them, groove them, swipe them, or anything. So I think that made it kind of interesting, too. No one really knew what it was going to do, if the tire was going to get so much heat that they were going to start blistering or what. But everyone's tire looked really good, and I think Eldora for the World 100 is going to that option too.
Yeah. Yeah, it was funny because we had said there's so many, not just racers, but tracks and series watching that North-South race to see how that, went. And then, it all of a sudden Eldora comes out today and says, hey, we're going to do the same thing for World 100. So you got to feel excited for that. I mean, to me, again, I don't have the experience on dirt that you do, but I mean, I seen you had that quarter panel knocked in where you could run that cushion kind of same way you do Eldora. So you got to be feeling pretty good about that.
Yeah, it actually looked about the exact same as it does. I think it was for the World last year. The quarter panel and everything, how it was like smushed down, looked the exact same. And I think it really helped. I don't know if it gave the car like more side bite, 'cause all that air was kind of flowing over it really nice and smooth, or what. But it felt like it made it better. I don't know. I could get the right rear that much closer to the wall without, you know, by the time I finally got the deck and everything knocked out of the way, and the quarter panel knocked out of the way a little bit, it kind of just made it smoother to run. But I ended up doing that a lot.
Well, it's by design. I'm sure your dad's got something built in there. And, you know,
They'll be implementing a rule next week.
Oh, yeah. They'll come out with a Bobby Pierce deck rule or something. But, you know, I got to park next to you guys again at Fairbury and had a great time. And I watch your dad and how intense he is with racing. And, you know, then you got your sister involved in there, and she kind of flows right in there with you guys. I mean, you have such a great chemistry. How was your dad leading up to the race? Was he you know, on the chip the whole time, or was he pretty calm with everything?
He was pretty calm. You know, there wasn't a whole lot of options with tires. You know, sometimes we'll have a couple different, you know, things to go with. 20s, 30s, or 40s is what we normally run with the UMP deal. And but you know, for this race, it was just 1350s is what you could run on the left front, right front, and left rear, which is kind of soft, you know, just a little bit harder than a 20. And then we could only have one tire for the feature, and we couldn't groove it or sipe it or anything. So that made it a little bit easier to pick on the tire situation. And, you know, with starting in the back how we were, you know, I think everyone was kind of calm. I think we just took it as, hey, we're going to get what we can get. And, you know, this car was the intention was for it to be put on the jig this week. I think we still are. You know, I've been hanging out with my girlfriend, and I'm heading home now. But we'll put that thing on the jig and make sure everything's straight on it. So he basically told me just to drive the wheels off the thing because it's going on the jig anyways. But
is that the one you flipped at Fairbury?
Yeah.
Well,
it must work all right then.
It must be fine. I'd be like,
don't worry about putting it on the
Dad,
jig.
we're just going to run that thing. Put a new quarter panel on it.
I know, right? But hey, we're not racing this weekend, I don't think. So I guess he wants to make more work on me.
He said, he told me he could not sit around and do nothing. You know, he was always talking about, well, if I wasn't racing, I'd find something to do. So this is a good point that he had. He just wants to get that thing better.
Yeah, and, you know, he was giving me signals with the sticks, and he was pretty calm, too. There's a couple of videos I saw on YouTube or something of him, the last couple laps, him giving me signals, and you know, he was staying pretty calm all the way up until right when I crossed the finish line, and then he gave some excitement, I guess.
I love it.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what you need, somebody who's calm and cool until the checkered flag falls. Bobby, you've had such a stellar season so far. You won the Hell Tour Championship. You were going to win the Show Me 100 until you had a tire issue. I mean, it's amazing, and I believe you're 19, correct?
Yeah.
That's absolutely insane what you're doing right now. And what do you attribute it to? Is it just you and your dad working hard?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I got to give a lot of credit to him, you know, because if it wasn't for him, then I wouldn't probably even be racing. You know, he's kind of brought me up. My family has, you know, raised me all around it. And with him building the cars and everything, that made it kind of easy to get involved in late model racing, I guess, too. But you know, he's always been one of my big supporters, and not just him, but my family, you know, my mom and my sister, and everyone, all my friends, and the fans too. You know, everyone kind of just that supports me, keeps me going in it. But you know, we work really hard, and I guess we're always working too. We race a lot, so that always helps. You know, as you're a young racer, I think racing a lot is one of the things that will get you there. You know, experience just goes a long way. And the past couple of years, we've been racing almost 90 shows a year. So,
wow. I
think with experience and just the right help, you know, and the right mindset, I think you'll get there.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, I went out on a limb. It was, I think, right after Fairbury. And I was very impressed with your family at how you guys all work, your sisters there and your dad and yourself. But I said, hey, he's young. You have tons of talent, and you don't have, you know, you're gaining so much experience. But I said, you know what? They do I think you guys go far and above what your budget allows you to with performance. And I said, hey, if this kid got with a team, a large team, I think it's hard telling what you could do. And I'm not taking down what you guys are doing now, but you're not like one of the top funded teams, you know. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. You guys, I mean, you're sitting there, your dad's building the cars, and you're doing stuff. Your sister's working on the tires and doing everything. It's crazy at how much you guys do with little there.
Yeah, you know, we're not like one of the most funded teams, but we got some good sponsors here and there, and
yep.
You know, I gotta thank them for that. And as far as the asphalt stuff goes, you know, I think it takes more to become, you know, one of the top-notch drivers in that sport. You know, you talk to some people and hear the crazy amounts that they want, you know, for, say, just like a whole year in a ride with something, whether it's a truck or what it is, and it's quite a bit. So, you know, sponsors are one thing that keeps the sport going, and you definitely need them more in the asphalt world than you do in the dirt world. And
yeah,
I think that's why, you know, you see a lot of people, they end up staying in the dirt just because, you know, they don't have that much funding. But it is what it is, and you know, like I said, I'm just glad to have the sponsors that I do right now for my dirt team. And it's always just you're trying to get more sponsors and trying to just find out what people want to help out a team and whatnot. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think with you know, all the TV coverage that some of these dirt races are getting, I think that's really good for the sport too. You know, heck, even racing some of the asphalt races that I did, and definitely the Eldora race in the truck is a lot of TV exposure. So I'm sure a lot of people watch that, and you know, all that stuff goes along hand in hand with trying to make sponsors and all that stuff. So
was it even going through your head that it was like $50,000 you were winning, or it was just like, hey, this is just a north-south shootout?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's times, you know, when you're leading those big races like that, I guess for the moment, sometimes it only feels just like any other race. But
yeah,
you kind of just got to keep the purse out of your head. You know, you just got to race.
Yep.
And you know, I'd be lying if I told you I wasn't shaking pretty bad those last couple laps in the car while I was driving. You know, just praying that there wasn't a caution or praying that nothing would go wrong with the car, because you know, that's a lot of money for us. And
yep,
you know, it's one of the crown jewels of the year, and it was my first crown jewel win overall. So it was just awesome, and to finally get it, you know, I think hopefully we can just keep knocking some more off.
I'm sure there'll be a lot.
And the thing is it wasn't like it was handed to you. It wasn't a rain out. You know what I mean? You passed Scott Bloomquist, and you earned that all by yourself. You talked about asphalt racing and dirt racing. If money wasn't an option, ultimately, where would you like to be? Is dirt racing where you love to be, or is asphalt really the direction you'd like to go?
Well, yeah, I mean, I gotta say dirt racing because I, you know, grew up around it my whole life, and it's treated me well. You know, I think if I was, say, an asphalt racer, you know, I started out racing asphalt, and I had as much success in asphalt as I have in dirt, then I'd probably be saying asphalt racing. But I got to go with dirt racing, and you know, everyone knows that it's not as well known as asphalt racing, but
hey,
I'd have to go with dirt racing.
I'm going to argue with you because I have a lot of friends that are asphalt guys, and that's what my background is, and I think dirt is underestimated or
Underrated.
Underrated, yes. There you go. Thank you. For what entertainment value and what drivers can do, and I love it. I'm gonna tell you, me and Kenny Schrader and Walt. I mean, there's so many, and there's even more of my friends going, "Hey, what's that like? You know, well, tell me some of the cost, or what can I go?" And they're switching over because it is, you know, a lot of fun, and a driver can still do stuff, and it's not all about the cubic dollar at times. So. Anyways, I wanted to tell you that a little bit. So you should be very proud of what you're getting to do. But what are you going to do with that trophy? Where are you going to put that thing at?
I hear you, but oh man, the trophy, it wouldn't even fit in our front living room, so we had to take it to the biggest part of the house for it to stand up.
So you
That's great. I love it.
so you didn't get to put it in your bedroom or nothing. You're like,
No. No.
that is
It
great.
would have been there.
That is great.
So the car's going back on the jig this weekend. Are you adding more races to your schedule now that the funding has helped out after winning this race?
Well, I think we're just going to take a weekend off, but I know Batesville just canceled. I read a text that they canceled for the weekend, the Topless 100.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're planning on going to the World 100. We're planning on going to the Knoxville Nationals, Late Model Nationals. If we can find a big motor for it, that is, I think we'll get one. And I haven't been there since I've only been there one other time. I think the last time I was there, I was 14 or 15. So it's been a long time ago. I'm looking forward to that. You know, we'll just keep hitting up the big shows here and there. And there's a couple more races at the end of the year, towards the end of the year, that I think we want to go to that I've never been to yet, like maybe like the Pittsburgh race, the Pittsburgher, or some of the other ones that I can't think of right now. But there's a couple on there, and we'll just keep chugging along. And, you know, maybe towards the end of the year, right now I'm leading the UMP national points, so we might end up having to go to some of those to maintain the lead and whatnot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's a pretty big deal. It's hard to win. And
At 19.
Yeah. So before we let you go here, your dad was talking about he's going to get back into modified for the Granite City race or Tri-City. I call it Granite City.
Yeah.
You think that's still going to happen? Or, I mean...
man, I hope so. I honestly would love to see that.
Oh, I would too.
I don't know. I mean, heck, he's got to, I guess, kick the dust off of his suit, find it.
Find it.
Find it first
Hopefully
and
it
then
still
kick
fits.
the dust off of it. But
I don't think he'll have a really hard time. I mean, he's got more energy than like 30-year-olds have. I mean, so
my girlfriend's sitting here. She says, yeah.
Yeah. If you end up, you need to make sure you text me or for sure if he's going to run that, because I'm going to make the trip there because I do not want to miss this.
Yeah, I hope so. I'll ask him when I get home today if he plans on doing that. I'd love to see that.
Yeah. Because they said, Gundaker and them's going to have like a father-son race. Isn't that what they're trying to do?
Yeah, I think so. You know, it's be him and KG and I can't remember who else. Billy Moyer.
Oh, wow.
We should probably get your girlfriend on the show. She knows her stuff. I love it.
How was T-shirt sales? Was she pretty busy afterwards?
We don't have the T-shirt trailer open after the race.
Well,
What?
I would have to miss the feature, and I'm not willing to do that.
Well,
I understand that. I can respect that.
Sales will be good next week, so that's good.
Oh, I hope so.
Well, good. Well, we'll let you enjoy yourselves. Again, very well. Congratulations. I mean, couldn't be more happier for you to win that North-South shootout, and good luck the rest of this year.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Bobby.
Yep.
Love it.
Couldn't even get the trophy in his room. That's funny.
In his living room at that.
Yeah, it's but it's funny. I can't remember it's like Mod Mania. They're gonna have father-son races.
That's really cool. I didn't know they were doing that.
Yeah, so Bob was always like, I'm getting back in the car. You know, I'm gonna get in, and it would be so cool. And it's funny because when I was next to him at Fairbury, we're talking and. It's just interesting because his dad has achieved so much. Like, I didn't even know he won that Prairie Classic like 5 times. And I was like, oh, man, that's saying a lot. Mm-hmm. And here he's telling, Bobby, and I'm like, hey, I mean, he's won 5 times. I might listen to him a little bit, But Bobby done a great job. And it's really interesting, watching that family as they go to the racetrack. And they do a whole lot with what they have there.
Well, and what he's accomplished already this year at 19, that just blows my mind. I mean, how many 19-year-olds are passing Scott Bloomquist for their biggest race win of their career?
I mean, it'll probably be, I'm going to say, you give him 10 years or 15 years, fans will be booing him all the time because he'll be winning so much. It's like they when Donnie Schatz takes the lead at Knoxville, they all go,
everybody sits
boo.
down.
Well, look at the guy.
They still respect him.
Yeah, you need to respect the guy.
That's right.
At the end of the day,
he's still winning races.
It's like Josh Richards. He's got 16 wins this year in World Outlaws. I mean, the guy is doing something. So I mean, don't down these guys because they're doing their homework and they're very good. Just go to work and try to beat them.
Yeah. And it's just them, right? They don't have like a full crew or
It's
anything.
just, Bob had told me they had a guy helping for the summer, which he's pretty intense. I kind of seen that parked next to him. Great. I mean, I'm telling you, I had a great time next to him. But it was just his sister had come back, and I didn't get to ask him. I wanted to. But to me, his sister's really up their program. I mean, she does all the tires.
That's
but
awesome.
She's a good balance of, I mean, she's like gives it right back to her dad and Bobby, and I wouldn't say she's the mediator, but it's definitely you know how family atmospheres are. You know, you can
absolutely.
you can holler
sure
and
do.
scream, and you still love them. They're family at the end of the day. So
Didn't we just do that earlier?
no, I cannot talk to you. So, but anyways, that's the thing that is interesting when you watch them, and they have such a strong relationship. So, I mean, I can't believe that's a car he flipped, you know, and he ends up winning. I mean, I might just kind of keep that thing as it is. So,
I know what I want to ask you. The tire situation, you know, we talked about that. I wanted to ask him and totally forgot about it. But do you think that, you know, since they're saying you can't sipe, you can't groove, you can't do this is the tires you're using, does that ultimately take the guessing game? I mean, this past weekend when we raced, you were trying to decide if you wanted a soft or a medium. And, you know,
I think
you play that mind game with yourself before you climb in the car.
Oh, yeah.
Making a specific tire rule, does that make you think harder about what you can do to your car instead of worrying about your tires?
Well, when you take and let's just take Bobby for example. He don't run Lucas Oil all the time. So you heard him talking about a UMP tire, which is LM 2040s and 30s. Then you have your Lucas Oil tire. I mean, they're all Hoosiers, but the thing is they're a little different rubber, a little different construction. It's the same in mods. I go run UMP, you're allowed an AS or an H being harder. And I've made a couple bad choices this year, not running enough. Like this weekend, we went to County Line, and I was like watching a track, and I'm like, I'll go a little harder, and I shouldn't have. It's good and bad. We want to put on a great show at the end of the day. We're entertainers. So when you have tires that are different, and you see a guy that maybe has a little harder tire, and say a race goes green for a little bit, and all of a sudden he's coming through the field, and another guy's got to manage his tires or take it easy, and it makes it hard. But a lot of these guys that race, it's their hobby. We can't have them doing this all the time, all week long, or their wives will get mad at them being in the garage. Anyways, the thing is that some of these bigger shows, to get maybe some more local guys or guys that don't run the series or run with the big touring events, they can come in and they feel like they're on a little more even playing field. Mm-hmm. So I'm all for it,
but I'm asking
as long
you
as
personally,
it's controlled in a way.
You know, with taking the guessing game out of the tires, does it make you think harder about your setup?
I'm sure his sister was like, this is going to be easy. We're just putting that thing on and we're going. Setup-wise, you kind of know what you got. I think there's a lot of unknowns as a driver, and probably as the crew chiefs were like, oh, well, what's this tire going to do? How hard can we lay on it? And you look at Scott Bloomquist as one of the best at managing tires and in a slick track, and I mean, he runs second, and he said his left rear run away. Yeah, and you look at the left rears are now trying to carry more of what that right rear isn't able to do. So finding that balance, not only as a driver to maintain your tire management, but also as a chassis setup. So it's a lot of curveball things that are going, but that's what's great about it, you know. I mean, I've sit there and I go, man, I shouldn't have siped this tire so much, it chunked out, or there's so many different things, or you have so many different picks. It's like, wait a minute, you know, it's like going to McDonald's. Hey, there's a value meal. Okay, just give me that meal there. It makes it easy. But even though the value meal hasn't changed in 15 years, you still got them dumbasses that stand in line, don't know what they're going to pick. So anyways.
Are you referring to me when you say that?
Yes.
Because
we will, folks, we go through the drive-thru, and they haven't changed these menus in 10 years. And I'm like, hey, what do you want? Oh, I don't know.
Well, honey, they have changed
Too
the
many
menus
choices.
because now you can order hotcakes all day long.
Again, too many choices. When you don't have as many choices, it makes it easier. So I like it. They take choices away. Here's what you got to have. We got to be careful at how we're doing that.
Well, I knew we were in trouble this weekend when you were asking me if you should run a soft or a medium.
Yeah, I really didn't know, folks. I was asking people, and I'm like, I just want somebody else to make that pick, so I wasn't the one to blame.
I can tell you how you're not driving the car right, but don't ask me which tire you should
When you
run.
look at dirt racing right now, and it's funny because my asphalt background, we'd put tires on, and you run 10 laps, and you got to throw them away sometimes.
Right.
You can't put them back on. Dirt racing, it's like Okay, I'm going to run this tire. It's seasoned a little bit. I've got a few hot laps on it or something. But we have to be careful through dirt racing is definitely thriving right now. It's doing a very, very good job. But we have to control that. I think they're doing a great job with all the social media, all the internet. Like there's different companies that do like Dirt on Dirt, race feed. There's so many. Anyways, we cannot commercialize it so much, I would say. So I hope right now they're doing a great job at it. But this deal at the World 100 will be interesting. Obviously, the North-South Shootout went off very well. So
Absolutely.
We'll see. What works at one track don't always work at another,
This is true. It's very true. But ultimately, I think it just takes one ace out of the hand of trying to.
Yeah. We do. Well, when you look at the Eldora race, they used to get 200 and some cars. Now, it pays $100,000, but heck, the sprint car race just paid $150, so maybe they need to pay $200,000, or go back to $1 million. I mean, but
that would be cool if they did another $1 million race.
It's not necessarily that top money. I always say that. Why don't they hey, well, we're going to pay $10,000 to start. Now, you want to see some people show up? I mean, they'll show up just to get in the race. They could pay $10,000 to win and $10,000 to start. We're still going to have a show because they want to win the World 100. But it's that.
I don't know if I agree with you on that one.
I do. Because when you look at, you're trying to bring back, we can go before the World 100. We could say, all right, here's 10 drivers, and probably out of that 10, that's who's going to win. And it's just because they work hard, they're good drivers. But we need to have the guys, that have that shot where they're like, man, I run 15th. Did you see that? That was awesome. And I made $10,000, Anyways.
I love it. Well, speaking of $10,000, we are going to talk to Chase Younghan about his brother's memorial race coming up this weekend here on Slingin Dirt, presented by Hercules Tires on MRN.com.
Slingin Dirt returns in 1 minute on MRN.com.
From work life to nightlife, from home to the road, your day can take you anywhere. These fast-paced times call for Wrangler Advanced Comfort jeans. Advanced Comfort is designed to keep up with you, no matter where you go or what you're doing. They're made with 20% stronger denim and 4-way flex technology that moves with you. Wrangler Advanced Comfort. Go anywhere, look great, and be comfortable. Wrangler Advanced Comfort jeans. Try on a pair today.
Motor Racing Network, glad to have you aboard for our coverage of practice, something we will be doing all throughout the year.
They are pretty close in practice.
You said you learned a lot in practice.
We can have a good, clean practice.
How many teams are going to opt out of practice?
Get this practice session underway.
As we close out practice. What are we talking about? Practice? We're talking about practice, man.
We are talking practice. Sprint Cup Series practice on the Motor Racing Network. Join us all season long on MRN.com and the MRN app. Looking to find the best place for all the latest NASCAR Sprint Cup, Xfinity, Camping World Truck, K&N, and Modified Series news? MRN.com is the place to go. Your online home for NASCAR news, opinion, podcasts, videos, race schedules, results, and statistics. Award-winning motorsports writers keep you informed and up-to-date on all the latest breaking NASCAR news and in-depth stories and opinion. MRN.com, your online home for all the NASCAR information you're looking for. This is Slingin Dirt on MRN.com. Now back to Ashley and David Stremme.
Welcome back. We're the Stremmes, and you're listening to Slingin Dirt, presented by Hercules Tires. Now joining us is our good friend, Chase Houlihan, Junghans.
How you guys doing?
We're good, Chase. How are you?
Oh, pretty good. Just slaving away at the shop.
You made it back to Kansas?
Yep.
I want to ask you, last time I talked to you, I seen you guys there at Fairbury, and you were like, well, I got to drive from here to Kansas, and then from Kansas to, I think you were going to Pennsylvania or something. How did that whole trip work out?
It went all right, I guess. We didn't make the show at Fairbury, but then we went up to Cedar Lake and ran somewhat decent, but been struggling lately, and we were going to go to our next races in Delmar, Delaware, and we kind of put the kibosh to that, called it off.
That's what I was talking about, because I remember
regroup.
that I was more talking of you were going to have to take your dad back to Kansas instead of him like flying or driving, and then you're going to go Delaware. So it worked out instead of going way out of the way.
Oh, yeah.
That's good. Well, you ended up, you said you didn't go to Delaware. What are some of the things you've been working on? Did you go test, or you just been kind of working on the car and seeing what you can find for speed?
Well, I actually sold my spare car, so I was down to one car, and we stripped the primary car, and I wanted to get these modifieds ready for my brother's race because they needed some body work done and stuff like that. So me and my crew have been working on that, and we've been mowing grass out at the ranch and just doing odd and end stuff
Fun
lately.
stuff.
But it's definitely nice taking a little break,
He got that lawnmower wide open because that's what this guy sitting next to me, when he mows the lawn, he's got that thing. I swear he thinks it's his race car. He's got that thing wide open trying to mow the grass.
Oh, yeah. We try to go as fast as we can, but the boss will yell at us if we go too fast.
So we got the race this weekend, your brother's memorial race, and you have not only, you said you're getting a couple mods ready, but your other modified that you're getting ready is for a good friend of yours. Do you have a side bet of who's going to beat who on this?
No, he's never even drove one. So, I mean,
I
don't know. It'd be kind of funny to just watch him hot lap. But, I mean, he's been racing long enough. He'll get used to it. But it should be fun. That's what we're looking for, just to get a fun weekend to hang out and racing and not having to worry about racing for points and doing it for a good cause.
Am I able to tell who's going to drive it?
Yeah, I mean, it don't matter.
It's the Bulldog, Shane Clanton,
Bulldog.
Which in Georgia, they don't have modifieds really. So it's going to be cool because as you referred to, a modified it's not like we got these big old spoilers and all this downforce. You got to get up on the wheel. And I know you're looking forward to getting back behind there. And is there other guys that you're really looking forward to getting to race against that maybe you haven't been able to race in since you went to late models?
I mean, all them guys that race at USMTS, I grew up racing with them, and we're all good friends, and it's always fun hanging out with them. So it should just be fun. And, I mean, we all race each other as hard as we can, but at the end of the day, we're all friends, and we try to have a good time. So definitely looking forward to it.
It's one of the biggest paying races for USMTS, and it's amazing what's going on there and just the structure and the cool things that are being added here and there. Is there like a pre-entry? Do you know how many cars you're planning on having this weekend?
I know they did a pre-entry, but Todd Bailey, the USMTS director, he never said how many he had pre-entered, but I'm hoping for at least 60. I mean, I'm sure there'll be more than that, but there's a lot of people that I'm talking to that are all pumped up about it and are just coming just for that race. But there should be a ton of people, hopefully, so it should be a good deal.
Well, I talked to Kenny Schrader. It was yesterday, and I said, hey, so Kenny, where are you going to run at? And he says, well, we're going to load the ramp truck up. We're going to head over there to Lakeside.
That's awesome.
He's pumped about coming over there, and it's always the neat thing is that track is so fun. But how's the weather been there? Because that thing floods pretty easy, don't it?
Yeah, I mean, they were calling for a little bit of chance of rain at the end of the week, but right now it's probably 80 and sunny. And if anyone has ever been to Kansas, it could be 80 degrees tomorrow and snow the next day. So it just depends on what Mother Nature wants to do. But hopefully it'll be nice and not too hot and be a good time.
So what are some of the plans? You going to attend the World 100, or what's some of your other late model races that you're going to get out to?
I don't know what I'm going to quite do yet. I know there's another like a MLRA race at Lakeside like August or September 2nd that we might go to. But right now we're just kind of going with the flow. If we want to go somewhere, we'll go somewhere. Mm-hmm. Now that I've seen that tire deal for the World 100, I mean, we might go to that. But right now, I mean, we aren't really picking and choosing where we want to go quite yet. But I might finish out the Outlaw deal. I don't know. We'll just see how things go. I got to get another car built before I do that. But just kind of going with the flow, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about that tire deal, and that's been our topic of discussion. We had Bobby on earlier talking about it. So for you, it ultimately is a game changer because maybe the World 100 wasn't on your list, and now it is because of the tire rule?
Well, I mean, I like going to Eldora, but every time I go there, I have no luck. So that's kind of how my whole year's been. Just had a good race car and no luck. But, I mean, I think that tire deal, it might work, it might not, but I know all the tire guys in the late model industry are cheering away because they're like, oh, yeah, we don't have to work as hard. But, I mean, I think it kind of takes the tire game out of the equation. I mean, everyone's on the same stuff, but then to an extent, it's kind of like, I don't want it to get to where everything's mandated that it's like NASCAR type deal.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I mean, that's where there's a fine line everybody's walking because obviously you talk about, say, track conditions at Eldora isn't the same if you go to Texas or you go to Wisconsin or, so you have to have some kind of different tires. But these crown races, it probably makes it easier when you show up in the hauler and you say, hey, these are only tires we got to have. We ain't got to have, say 40 or 50 tires. Now you're down to maybe 15 tires.
Yeah, that and, like, just the siphon of tires and stuff. I mean, there's been plenty of times I've been racing and my car's been really good and your right rear tire runs out of sights and then you go to crap.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's completely out of the equation. And normally when you can't do that stuff to those tires, it makes them a lot easier to glaze up if you have a caution and they cool off and stuff like that and they won't fire. So, I don't know. It might make the racing better. It might not. But at least they're trying to do something,
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, they're looking out for hopefully everybody's interest. What you hopping back in this modified? Are there any other modified races that you might get to go to and have some fun?
I don't know. I know there's a a 40,000 one unless they canceled it up in Mississippi Lake up in Wisconsin that I might go to. But as of right now, I mean, I might just race it this one time and put it in the shed, or I'd like to mess around, like if we're ever going somewhere and there's a close modified race, just to go have fun, but I don't know what the plan is quite yet.
Well, I got a plan for you, okay? And I make plans for everybody, so it works out. And it's a great plan because you're going to come World Finals with your late model, run it, because it's a great time and you like Charlotte. So the week before, they're having modifieds, and you just bring the modified and you can spend 2 weeks here and you can hang out and we can have fun.
There you go.
Well, great. Sounds like I sold you on it.
Yep. I might have to change the body a little bit. I know that stuff different. But
you just pull a spoiler off and you're fine. So.
Oh, we're golden then.
You're youngins, man. They'll end up. They'll push you right through. So you're one of their World Outlaw late model guys. You just roll through. So.
I wish it was that easy.
I wish I could sell everybody on this deal. So.
Yep.
Chase, how long has it been since you've raced a modified?
I raced my brother's car a year from March at Humboldt at that King of America race. So it's been almost a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And prior to that, it was probably another year and a half. So I've only raced them off once in the last 3 years, probably.
What are some of the biggest differences for a lot of the people listening from a modified and a late model when you're driving them?
Well, some mods, they really don't handle like a late model, so you kind of got to just man up and make it do what you want. But the biggest thing I noticed is, like, you hop in one of those modifieds from racing a late model, and I literally feel like I'm just going 15 miles an hour.
So just slow motion.
Yeah, everything's slow motion. And I don't know if it's just because racing those late models, like, some late models get after it.
Yeah.
And when you hop in one of those things, I mean, they're still fast, but just getting used to racing a late model, your reaction times are so much quicker and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Those modified, you just got to calm down and just slow everything down, and that's the biggest thing I noticed. That, and there's a lot of cautions with modified.
There's a lot of cautions?
A lot of cautions.
Easy, man. Easy. I'm a mod guy, and I don't like cautions. But
I don't either, but
you must race
one thing I noticed last time I raced it.
Yeah, I mean, there are some...
it's the people you're racing with.
Yeah.
There are some places that I've seen where you go, man, we got more cautions than we do green laps. But
yeah,
it's how... I never thought, though, I'd do a flip count at Fairbury for the Prairie Classic, being that there wasn't really sprint cars there or anything. So you never know what you'll see.
That was crazy.
Yeah, it was. Well, that's cool. Well, I hope everything's great this weekend. I know you give them Scott boys a hard time for me and a lot of those other guys, and you put that thing up front in Victory Lane, and you'd have a good weekend.
That's the game plan, so.
Awesome.
We'll try our best.
And give Shane a hard time, too.
I will.
Make sure he works. Don't let him sit around or anything,
Yeah.
He's had it pretty easy here for a couple weeks, and, you need to make it a little harder on him, I should say.
Yep.
That's good.
Love it. Awesome. Well, best of luck this weekend, Chase. And we know it's going to be an amazing show, and it's all a memorial of your brother. And we just wish you all the best this weekend.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Right,
Thanks, Chase.
I'm glad I got him sold on that Charlotte deal.
I
looking
think it
forward
was
to
a
it.
little too easy of a
Yeah, I know. I just need to call his dad is who I need to talk to.
Mr. Houlihan.
But and I bet you'll see a lot of guys. They have the modifieds. They have crate late models, 360 sprints. You'll see a lot of guys maybe come out for a week early with some stuff, and
it's possible.
especially
Some of the
who's the 24 T-Mac?
Terry McCarl?
Yeah, because he always comes out normally early. Yeah, I'm glad we got that dinger, and I had it right, but I had to ask the wing person here about that. But anyways, he comes out, and he'll probably be out with a 360.
I'm sure that several of them probably will come early for that. Absolutely.
Anyways,
I don't know what it pays, though.
we need to take a Hercules tire break.
We have to pay our bills. So here, keep it here on Slingin Dirt, presented by Hercules Tires on MRN.com.
Slingin Dirt returns in 1 minute on MRN.com.
O'Reilly. Has the summer heat taken a toll on your vehicle's battery? Count on O'Reilly Auto Parts for the Superstart battery that's right for your vehicle. For a limited time, purchase a Superstart Premium, Extreme, or Platinum battery and get up to a $15 O'Reilly gift card by mail. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. From work life to nightlife, from home to the road, your day can take you anywhere. These fast-paced times call for Wrangler Advanced Comfort jeans. Advanced Comfort is designed to keep up with you, no matter where you go or what you're doing. They're made with 20% stronger denim and 4-way flex technology that moves with you. Wrangler Advanced Comfort. Go anywhere, look great, and be comfortable. Wrangler Advanced Comfort jeans. Try on a pair today.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there, whether you're running on dirt or running a job. Our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
This is Slingin Dirt on MRN.com. Now back to Ashley and David Stremme.
Welcome back to Slingin Dirt, presented by Hercules Tires. We're the Stremmes. We were just talking about the World Short Track Championship is what the official name of the week before the Dirt Track World Finals.
Yes.
Here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
So I have a list of
Charlotte Motor Speedway. The dirt track at Charlotte.
The dirt track at Charlotte.
I'm confused.
I'll tell you what. We have the actual list of 9 divisions they're going to have.
9.
9 divisions.
All running every night.
Thursday's like open practice, but I have a feeling we'll get into that. So they have the Sika Pro Late models, UMP dirt car modifieds.
E-mods.
Love them. They're not E-mods. They are dirt car UMP modifieds. Anyway, Sportsman modifieds. They have Sika Pro mods, 360 sprints, Dirt Car Pro sprints, Sika Crate Sportsman, and mini stocks.
Mini stocks?
Yes. MMSA mini stocks. It's the Monster Mini Association, which
That's
the
awesome.
best one of all, which I think
They're
should.
so fun to watch.
Is the front-wheel drive Hornets.
Oh, those are good
so
too.
My thing is, everybody's like, 9 divisions. How are they gonna get? Now listen, they do Volusia, World Racing Group, and Sika. They have time limits. This isn't gonna last all night. My thing is say, hey, the front-wheel drives and Monster Minis, some of these divisions, just run them all. If you got 50 front-wheel drives show up, just run them all. How cool would that be? I mean, the track's big enough.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, just run them all.
I thought you meant like 3 different divisions running at once. I was like, wait.
But Thursday's practice, but it's not only, it gives the local guy a stage to go to and get to run at Charlotte. So it's a really cool event. There's so many people talking about it. People from Minnesota, Wisconsin, New York that I know of have called me, and they're like, hey, so what is this? And I'm like, look, I've never even been I've just watched there. I've never drove the place. So
you think I could get a front-wheel drive for that race?
No, you have a crown and a sash you got to wear, so you can't do
What
that.
does that mean? It doesn't mean I can't race cars.
No, but we don't. We need you to tell me how I'm driving. So, anyways,
I remember that.
But it's going to be a really cool deal, and I'm curious. Like we were saying, how many 360 or 410s come out, put a 360 in, but
especially the guys that are making the long haul. You might as well come a week
Yes.
early and.
But it's going to be a great event.
Twice the purse.
I think hats off to Sika and World Racing Group for being able to do this for short track guys, and plus it gets the track ready for the following week for what I call the big show.
And I'm glad that finally someone listened to me, because I've been saying this all along that they needed to do an open wheel mod race, and I knew why they couldn't, because at the same weekend of the Dirt Track World Championships.
Yeah, you got to remember everything's moved up. Timing's everything. They'll have the UMP Dirt Car Nationals at Eldora beginning of that month. There's just a lot of stuff going on. It's cool. You have the World coming up beginning of September. There's a lot on the plate of everybody's to capitalize the year out.
Well,
but
it's Labor Day weekend.
They've become the scene. Charlotte, dirt is strong here in the Southeast, but you have different guys that are going to come from different parts of the country. It's still weather's good, and they want to travel, make a little vacation out of it, and come here. And speaking of vacations, they have the American Vacation race.
I thought you were going to tell me you're taking me somewhere.
No, we went to Vegas for your deal. So, anyways, Boone Nationals are coming up. So they got that. That's over the week after Labor Day. I don't know for official dates, but I think it's like the 14th or somewhere in there. Same. I know it's the same weekend as that Mississippi Thunder Speedway. Their big 40,000 to win. So.
Yeah. Some other races. USMTS is at Adams County Lakeside for Grant's race. Salina High Banks in 81. Lucas is at Batesville. And
no, they're not.
They're not?
They canceled.
Did they? Oh, he
Bobby
did
Pierce
say
just
that.
said
You're right. I forgot.
Yeah.
Anyhow, Southeast is at Tazewell this weekend. We'll be maybe making the trip. But we appreciate you for joining us. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Slingin Dirt. You can find us later in the Media Center at mrn.com.
This has been Slingin Dirt with Ashley and David Stremme. Listen every Tuesday at 11 Eastern on mrn.com for more news, interviews, and opinion from dirt tracks all over America. Slingin Dirt is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.